Good morning, dear students. In the previous class, we discussed about the external features of the pons and the internal structure of the pons, and also the transverse section through the lower or the caudal part of the pons. Today, we are going to see transverse section through the upper or the cranial part of the pons. The motor nucleus of trigeminal nerve is situated beneath the lateral part of the fourth ventricle. So this transverse section through the upper part of the pons, it passes mainly through the trigeminal nuclei, that you should remember. Okay. The tegmentum at this level, it exhibits a small cavity that is known as the cavity of the fourth ventricle. Fourth ventricle is a cavity which contains cerebrospinal fluid. So the TS section, the transverse section through the upper part of the pons, it mainly passes through trigeminal nuclei. The tegmentum at this level, it exhibits a small cavity of the fourth ventricle, which is bounded on either side or dorsolaterally by the superior cerebellar peduncle. As you can see, this green color one, this is superior cerebellar peduncles on either side, dorsolaterally. And the roof, it is formed by the superior medullary velum. The superior medullary velum. So this is actually the transverse section through the upper or the cranial part of the pons, where the section is passing through the trigeminal nucleus. So the motor nucleus of the trigeminal nerve, it is situated beneath the lateral part of the floor of the fourth ventricle within the reticular formation. The emerging motor fibers, they travel anteriorly through the substance of the pons and exit on the anterior surface. The principal sensory nucleus of the trigeminal nerve is situated on the lateral side of the motor nucleus. That you should remember. So basically, the trigeminal nerve has got a sensory and the motor component. So the motor fibers, they travel anteriorly through the substance of the pons and exit on the anterior surface, whereas the sensory nucleus of the trigeminal nerve is situated on the lateral side of the motor nucleus. The superior cerebellar peduncle, as you can see these two, is situated posterior lateral to the motor nucleus of the trigeminal nerve. The trapezoid body and medial lemniscus are situated in the same position as they were in the previous section. The lateral and spinal lemnisci lie at the lateral extremity of the medial lemniscus. So these are the features in the transverse section of the pons through its cranial part or the upper part of the pons. So in this diagram, we shall make out the gray matter. So the gray matter mainly comprises of the sensory nuclei of the trigeminal nerve. Okay. The motor nucleus of trigeminal nerve, it is situated, this red color one is the motor nucleus of the trigeminal nerve. It is situated in the dorsolateral part of the or you can say dorsolateral part of the fourth ventricle. Beneath the fourth ventricle or dorsolateral part of the fourth ventricle. That is the situation of the motor nucleus of the trigeminal nerve. The emerging motor fibers, they travel anteriorly through the substance of the pons and exit on its anterior surface. Then we have the principal sensory nucleus of the trigeminal nerve. It is situated lateral to the motor nucleus. So caudally or inferiorly, it is continuous with the nucleus of spinal tract of trigeminal nerve. And rostrally with the mesencephalic nucleus of trigeminal nerve. So you can see here the mesencephalic root of the trigeminal nerve. Let us discuss about the white matter. That is the gray matter. So in the gray matter, we have the two main nuclei, the motor nucleus and the principal sensory nucleus of the trigeminal nerve. The white matter at this level, it consists of the ascending tracts in the lower part. However, the lateral lemniscus, you can see here, this is the lateral lemniscus. The trigeminal lemniscus. The trigeminal lemniscus consists of trigeminothalamic fibers, and it is seen between medial and trigeminal lemniscus. It is seen between the medial lemniscus and the spinal lemniscus. So the trigeminal lemniscus, it is between the medial and the spinal lemniscus. That you must remember. So the ventral part of the tegmentum, immediately posterior to the basilar part, it presents 4 lemnisci. So these are the 4 lemnisci. We have the medial lemniscus, then we have the trigeminal lemniscus, the spinal lemniscus, and the lateral lemniscus. So the gray matter of the upper or the cranial part of the pons, it contains motor and principal sensory nuclei of the trigeminal nerve. Then white matter contains 4 lemnisci. They are the medial lemniscus, the trigeminal lemniscus, the spinal lemniscus, and lateral lemniscus. And also you find the trapezoid body, okay. So the structures you can see here, these are bundles of corticospinal and corticonuclear fibers. So these are the bundles of corticospinal and corticonuclear fibers. So this is about the transverse section through the upper or the cranial part of the pons. Okay. Now let us, this is important from examination point of view. So you have to practice the diagram of both the sections of the pons. Okay, one is at the caudal part of the pons and other is at the cranial part of the pons. Coming to the blood supply of the pons, it is supplied by basilar artery. The contribution of this main artery can be further subdivided into paramedian branches to the medial pontine region. Then short circumferential branches supply the anterolateral pons. Then long circumferential branches, they run laterally over the anterior surface of the pons and anastomose with the branches of the anterior inferior cerebellar artery. Some reinforcing contributions by the anterior inferior cerebellar artery and superior cerebellar arteries. So basically we have numerous pontine branches from the basilar artery, then the anterior inferior cerebellar artery, which supplies the anterior inferior surface of the pons. Then we have superior cerebellar artery, emerges from the basilar artery prostrally. So it supplies cerebellar cortex, white matter, and central nuclei. Then we have the paramedian vessels. They are 6 in number. They arise from basilar artery and penetrate perpendicularly into the pontine parenchyma, and they supply medial basal pons, including the pontine nuclei, the corticospinal fibers, and the medial lemniscus. So this is important. The blood supply mainly by the numerous pontine branches from the basilar artery and anterior inferior cerebellar artery and superior cerebellar artery, and the paramedian vessels, they supply the pons. Coming to the clinical correlation, we have this condition which is known as the Millard-Gubler syndrome or medial inferior pontine syndrome. Medial inferior pontine syndrome. This is due to the occlusion of paramedian branch of the basilar artery. The common symptoms include contralateral weakness and numbness, opposite side, ipsilateral facial weakness, the same side, diplopia, double vision. On the side of the lesion, the paralysis of conjugate gaze to the side of the lesion, and center for the conjugate and lateral gaze. Nystagmus due to the involvement of the vestibular nucleus, then ataxia of the limbs and gait, likely middle cerebellar peduncle. Diplopia on the lateral gaze, that is due to the involvement of the abducens nerve. Then internuclear ophthalmoplegia or 1.5 syndrome, we say. So this is on side of the lesion. On side of the opposite lesion, paralysis of the face, arm and leg, corticobulbar and corticospinal tract in lower pons. That is involvement of the corticobulbar and corticospinal tract. Impaired tactile and proprioceptive sense over one half of the body. That is due to the involvement of the medial lemniscus. Then one more syndrome you have, that is actually it is hemorrhage. We say pontine hemorrhage. So pontine hemorrhage, it occurs due to involvement of branches of the basilar and anterior inferior cerebellar artery which are supplying the pons. So if the pontine hemorrhage is extensive and bilateral, the patient presents features like, we say, pinpoint pupil due to involvement of the ocular sympathetic fibers, hyperpyrexia due to severe damage to the pons. So the body is cut off from the heat regulating centers in the hypothalamus. Then the person might go into deep coma due to involvement of reticular formation. There may be a bilateral paralysis of the face and limbs due to involvement of facial nerve nuclei and corticospinal fibers. So pontine hemorrhage, you should remember the mnemonic that it leads to pinpoint pupil, pyrexia, and paralysis. That is bilateral paralysis of the face and limbs due to the involvement of the facial nerve nuclei and the corticospinal fibers. So with this, we have completed the sections of the pons at the cranial part and in the caudal part. Thank you very much.